The warship should have returned carrying Earth's surrender. Instead, it returned carrying a human flag. The moment the image appeared on the Galactic Council's central display, complete silence fell across the chamber. Thousands of representatives stared at the screen. Nobody spoke. Nobody breathed. Because hanging proudly above the bridge of the Empire's most powerful battleship was something impossible. The blue and white banner of Earth. Councillor Vare slowly stood from his seat. No. His voice trembled. No, that's fake. The image zoomed closer. It wasn't fake. The warship was real. The flag was real. And somehow, the Empire's greatest symbol of military superiority was returning from human space as if it belonged to humanity. Across the chamber, military officials exchanged nervous looks. The battleship was called the Iron Dominion. For nearly 80 years, it had represented the Empire's strength. Entire civilizations had surrendered when it entered orbit. Fleets had retreated. Governments had collapsed. Wars had ended. The Iron Dominion did not lose. It certainly did not return flying another species' flag. Yet here it was, approaching Imperial territory, broadcasting human music through every communication channel. The council chamber erupted into chaos. What happened? Did Earth capture it? Was the crew killed? Is this a declaration of war? Questions filled the room. Answers did not, because only one person knew the truth, and he was standing on the bridge of the approaching warship. Captain Arik Sol, hero of the Empire, veteran of 3 campaigns, commander of the Iron Dominion, the man who had been ordered to intimidate Earth, the man who had failed, or perhaps succeeded beyond anyone's imagination. 6 months earlier, the mission had seemed simple. Humanity had entered the galactic stage only 12 years before. Their technology advanced quickly. Too quickly. Their economy expanded. Their colonies multiplied. Their influence spread through nearby systems. The Empire viewed this growth with concern. The Council viewed it with fear. So they chose the solution they always used: pressure, a demonstration of power. Send the strongest warship. Remind humanity who ruled the stars. Captain Arik received his orders without question. Travel to Earth. Demand compliance. Display military superiority. Return home. Simple. Routine, predictable. At least that was the plan. Then he met humans. The first surprise occurred before the warship even entered Earth's orbit. Instead of military escorts, instead of defensive fleets, instead of diplomatic warnings, Earth welcomed them. Literally. The first transmission arrived from a young human woman. Her name was Commander Elena Reyes. She appeared on the bridge screen wearing a simple naval uniform, dark hair, calm smile, steady eyes. Welcome to Earth space. Captain Arik frowned. That was not the response he expected. No fear, no hostility, no panic, just genuine hospitality. The captain remained formal. We represent the Imperial fleet. We know, we carry an official warning. We know. Arik blinked. The human woman smiled. Would you like docking coordinates? Several officers on the bridge exchanged confused looks. Nobody had ever reacted like this. The captain narrowed his eyes. You are not concerned? Commander Reyes laughed softly. Should I be? For the first time in years, Captain Arik felt uncertain. The feeling only grew worse after arriving. Earth was not what the Empire expected. Human cities stretched across continents. Orbital stations filled the skies. Shipyards produced vessels at impossible speed. Trade flowed constantly. Technology has advanced everywhere. Most disturbing of all, humans seemed happy. Not desperate, not frightened, not struggling, happy. The Empire's intelligence reports had predicted a young civilization barely holding itself together. Instead, they found confidence, purpose, unity. And the more Captain Arik learned, the more uncomfortable he became. Days turned into weeks. Official meetings continued. Negotiations expanded. Commander Reyes became his primary contact. At first, their conversations remained professional, then personal, then surprisingly enjoyable. She challenged him, questioned him, made him laugh. Nobody had done that in years. One evening they stood together on an observation platform overlooking Earth's Pacific Ocean. Golden sunlight reflected across endless water. Arik stared silently. It's beautiful. Elena smiled. We think so. The captain nodded. Most species destroy places like this. Humans nearly did. He looked at her. Nearly. We learned. The simple answer stayed with him. Humans made mistakes, but they learned, adapted, improved. It seemed to define everything about them. Weeks became months. The mission slowly changed. Instead of intimidation, observation. Instead of pressure, cooperation. Instead of enemies, something closer to friends. Unfortunately, not everyone wanted peace. Far beyond Earth, another fleet was moving. A secret fleet, led by Admiral Krell, a powerful Imperial officer who believed humanity represented a threat. Unlike Captain Arik, Krell had already made his decision. Humans would be destroyed. Negotiation was a weakness. Diplomacy was a failure. Only force mattered. And if the Council would not authorize war, he would create one. The attack began without warning. A mining colony near the frontier disappeared. Then another. Then another. Evidence pointed directly toward humanity. Media channels exploded. Anger spread. Fear followed. The Empire demanded answers. Earth denied involvement. The situation deteriorated rapidly. Captain Arik knew something was wrong. The attacks made no sense. Humans gained nothing from them. Someone was manipulating events. Someone wanted war. The truth arrived too late. An encrypted message appeared aboard the Iron Dominion. The source shocked him. Admiral Krell. The message contained attack orders. Not against colonies. Against Earth itself. Arik read the transmission 3 times, then a 4th. Each reading made his blood run colder. Krell intended to launch a surprise strike. Millions would die. Entire cities could disappear. And the attack would begin in less than 48 hours. The captain stared through the bridge viewport. Earth floated peacefully below, blue, white, beautiful. A world that had welcomed him, trusted him, changed him. Commander Elena Reyes appeared in his thoughts, her smile, her kindness, her faith in cooperation. Then another realization struck. If Krell succeeded, she would die too. Arik closed his eyes. For years he had followed orders. For years he had served faithfully. For years he had believed loyalty meant obedience. Now he faced a terrible choice. Protect his empire. Or protect what was right. The bridge remained silent. Every officer waited. Every officer knew. The decision would change history. Captain Arik slowly stood. Then he looked toward his crew. Prepare emergency transmission. The communications officer nodded. Destination? Arik stared toward Earth. His answer would make him a traitor. His answer would make him an enemy of the Empire. His answer would save billions. Send it to Commander Elena Reyes. The bridge became silent. Then he continued. Tell Earth everything. And in that moment, the strongest warship in the Empire stopped being a weapon of intimidation. It became humanity's first line of defense. The war was about to begin. The message reached Earth 19 minutes later. Commander Elena Reyes read it twice. Then a 3rd time. Every sentence felt heavier than the last. Admiral Krell was coming. Not for negotiation, not for intimidation, for annihilation. The room around her remained silent. Human officers stared at the tactical display. Red markers multiplied across the star map. An invasion fleet. Massive, organized, fast. One officer finally spoke. Can we verify the information? Elena looked up. The source is Captain Arik Sol. Nobody argued after that. During the past 6 months, the captain had earned humanity's trust. Not because he agreed with them, not because he became human, but because he had proven something rare. Integrity. He told the truth even when it hurt. And right now, the truth was terrifying. Across Earth, military commands activated emergency protocols, shipyards accelerated production, defense platforms awakened, reserve fleets mobilized, the entire solar system transformed. Humanity had hoped for peace. But humanity had never stopped preparing for war. Far beyond Earth, Captain Arik watched his crew. Some officers looked nervous, others looked terrified. A few looked angry. One finally stood. Captain, Arik nodded. Speak. The officer swallowed. We have just betrayed the Empire. The bridge became silent. And Arik walked slowly toward the viewport. Stars stretched endlessly beyond the glass. Then he answered quietly. No. The officer frowned. No. Arik turned. We betrayed a criminal. Nobody spoke. The captain continued. Admiral Krell is preparing genocide. The word struck like a weapon. Genocide. Not conquest. Not a military victory. Extermination. Even among the Empire's warriors, certain lines still existed. Krell intended to cross every one of them, and Captain Arik refused to follow. Hours later, the invasion fleet appeared. Thousands of warships emerged from hyperspace. The darkness of space vanished behind walls of metal. Battleships, carriers, destroyers, cruisers, enough firepower to erase civilizations. At the center stood Admiral Krell's flagship, the Obsidian Crown. A warship nearly twice the size of the Iron Dominion. Inside its command center, Krell smiled. Earth had no chance. His fleet outnumbered every known human vessel. The campaign would end before it truly began. Then an officer approached. "Admiral." "What?" "The Iron Dominion is blocking our approach vector." Krell laughed. Captain Arik finally remembered his duty. The officer looked uncomfortable. "Sir?" Krell frowned. "What?" The officer swallowed. "The Iron Dominion is transmitting a warning." Silence. "A warning?" The officer nodded. "To us." For several seconds, nobody moved. Then Krell's face darkened. "Open the channel." The bridge screen activated. Captain Arik appeared. Calm, determined, fearless. Krell immediately understood. The captain had chosen a side. Unfortunately for Krell, it wasn't his. "You disappoint me, Captain." Arik remained silent. Krell continued. "You were sent to intimidate humanity. I know. And instead you became their ally." Arik looked directly into the Admiral's eyes. "No." Krell frowned. "No? I became their friend." The bridge fell silent. Several officers stared in disbelief. Friend. The word sounded absurd, weak, meaningless, yet somehow it carried more power than threats ever could. Krell's expression hardened. "Move aside." "No. You cannot stop this fleet." Arik smiled slightly. "I don't need to." The transmission ended. For several seconds, Krell stood motionless. Then alarms exploded across the flagship. Officers rushed between stations. Confusion spread instantly. "Admiral, what now?" The officer pointed toward the tactical display. Krell looked, and his face lost all color. Hundreds of new contacts appeared, then thousands. Human warships, everywhere. Not approaching, already waiting. The invasion fleet had sailed directly into a trap. The admiral stared at the display. Impossible. Nobody could mobilize this quickly. Nobody. Then the realization struck. Captain Arik, the warning, the preparation. Humanity had known, and humanity was ready. Across the solar system, millions watched the approaching battle. Families gathered around screens. Workers stopped. Schools paused lessons. Entire cities waited, not in panic, in determination, because humans understood something many civilizations forgot. Peace was precious, which meant it was worth defending. The first shots erupted moments later. Energy beams crossed the darkness. Missiles streaked through space. Fighter squadrons launched. The largest battle in modern galactic history had begun. The Iron Dominion charged first, directly toward the center of Krell's formation. Every officer on the bridge knew the odds. They were terrible. The captain knew too. He simply didn't care. All batteries fire. The warship unleashed hell. Massive plasma cannons struck enemy destroyers. Missile swarms ripped through defensive screens. Entire formations shattered. The crew fought with everything they possessed. Not for the Empire, not for politics, for people, for friends, for a future worth protecting. Hours passed. The battle intensified. Ships burned. Heroes fell. Victories and losses mixed. Neither side gained an advantage. Then disaster struck. The Obsidian Crown broke through. Krell's flagship charged directly toward Earth. Every remaining defense fleet attempted interception. None succeeded. The giant warship continued advancing. Closer, closer, closer. Earth appeared directly ahead. Cities, oceans, lives, billions of lives. Inside the human command center, silence spread. If Krell reached firing range, the consequences would be catastrophic. Then another signal appeared. The Iron Dominion. Captain Arik's damaged warship accelerated unexpectedly. Straight toward the flagship. Straight toward impossible odds. Commander Elena Reyes watched the display. Her heart pounded. She understood immediately. No. Nearby officers looked confused. She whispered again, "No." Because she knew exactly what Arik intended. The captain opened one final channel. His image appeared before her. Smoke filled the bridge behind him. Emergency lights flashed red. Crew members rushed desperately between stations, yet somehow, he still smiled. The same smile she remembered beside Earth's ocean. "Hello, Elena," her voice shook. "Arik." The captain glanced toward the stars. "It seems I finally understand humans." Tears filled her eyes. "Don't do this," he laughed softly. "You taught me something." "What?" The captain looked directly at her. "Some things are worth fighting for." Silence. Then he continued. "And some things are worth sacrificing for." Elena could not speak. The captain smiled one final time. Then the transmission ended. The Iron Dominion accelerated. Faster, faster, faster. Straight toward the Obsidian Crown. Krell finally understood. His face turned white. No, the giant flagship attempted evasive maneuvers. Too late, far too late. The strongest warship in the Empire slammed directly into the obsidian crown. The explosion illuminated half the battlefield. A miniature star erupted in darkness. For several seconds, nobody saw anything. Then the light faded. The obsidian crown was gone. Krell was gone. The invasion fleet stopped fighting. Shock spread instantly. Their commander had vanished. Their flagship had vanished. Their war was over. One by one. Weapons powered down. The battle ended. Earth survived. Humanity survived. Peace survived. Weeks later, representatives from dozens of civilizations gathered on Earth. The war had changed everything. New alliances formed. Old enemies reconciled. And at the center of every conversation stood one name, Captain Arik Sol, the alien commander who chose friendship over fear, honor over obedience, humanity over hatred. A memorial ceremony took place overlooking the Pacific Ocean. Thousands attended. Humans, aliens, military officers, civilians, even former enemies. Commander Elena Reyes stood silently before a monument. The ocean waves rolled gently behind her. The wind carried the scent of salt and sunlight. A small smile appeared. Pain remained. Loss remained. But so did hope. Then a young officer approached. "Commander." She turned. The officer handed her a data crystal, recovered from the Iron Dominion. Elena stared at it. "What is it?" The officer smiled. "A final message." Later that evening, she activated the recording. Arik appeared, relaxed, smiling, alive within memory. "If you're watching this," he laughed softly. "Then I was probably right." Elena wiped away tears. The captain continued. "I spent most of my life believing strength came from fear." His smile faded slightly. "I was wrong." The stars reflected behind him. Then he spoke the words that would eventually spread across the galaxy. "Humanity's greatest weapon isn't its fleet. It isn't technology. It isn't soldiers. It isn't war." He paused. "It's the ability to turn strangers into family." Silence followed. Then the recording ended. Months later, the remains of the Iron Dominion were recovered. Human engineers rebuilt sections of the legendary vessel, not as a weapon, not as a battleship, as a symbol, a reminder, a promise. And on the day it returned to Imperial space, every news network broadcasts the same image. The restored Iron Dominion crossing the stars. Its hull is upgraded with human technology. Its systems are rebuilt, its mission transformed. And above its bridge, flying proudly in the sunlight, was a human flag. The same image that had stunned the Galactic Council months earlier. The image that would become a legend. Because the Empire had sent its strongest warship to intimidate Earth. And it returned carrying something far more powerful than weapons. It returned carrying friendship. And that changed the galaxy forever. Like and subscribe to my channel for more informative and entertainment sci-fi stories.